So yeah, let's just get into it. Like, let's not waste more time. So I think right now, like, we're kind of like bouncing off this like high volume node here, right? That you've got on. I've drew this like anchored volume profile from like pretty much start of June. We've been kind of in this range. I think this is just like typical summer PA. So we'll probably get more range, right? So we were at range highs. I took a short on ETH just because I thought risk to reward looked a bit better, but obviously Bitcoin, I guess, would have been the better short, right? Because it has like retraced a lot deeper. But anyways, like I think on tomorrow we have FOMC, right? So I think we could maybe get like a scam pump up into this MPOC if I just uh, show you guys one sec. We have this naked point of control, which, oh wait, this is wrong settings. Bitcoin, there we go. Yeah, so we got naked point of control up here, right? I would call this a supply zone because we had a sweep up here and now like pretty big displacement. So if we retest just like this general zone here, right? That's like I've set limits for right here with my invalidation right above that sweep high. I guess you could say this was a retest, but it doesn't. We never tapped the naked point of control, right? So maybe we get like a scam pump towards FOMC, right? And yeah, that's the kind of what I'm aiming for right now. In terms of longs, like I think this is still technically like I guess like a channel area basically. So let's see. If I draw it like this, I could say potentially. I mean, it makes sense, right? We're bouncing here, but I think this looks to me it looks more like a bear flag. So I would probably set like I want to set a limit for a long as well, like down here. Basically, this is like very extreme, but there is an MPOC here as well. I think we could see like a decent reaction here. So 58.6, and then I'll probably target like I don't know fixed 5R or something like that, or 4R. We'll see. I think 4R would probably be just because it's summer. We don't want to be greedy. Something like that. Um, yeah, because I could see like us like breaking down here potentially, and then doing some shit like basically front running the low, right? There will probably be a lot of shorts coming in here. But locally, technically still in this like upwards channel for now, right? So we'll see. But yeah, I'll put this in the chat. Just make it more clear. I mean I've already posted this setup right in my channel, but just so you guys have a general idea of what like the POIs I'm looking at locally. This does look like it's a good sweep here, but I'm not willing it to long right now. Not a day before FOMC is too risky for me. Ethereum, I'm still holding this just because it was not a full size short, right? So, I mean, I would say personally, I could move stops break even, just because if I pull, it depends. If it's like, yeah, it's like I would say move stops break even like if I do see it go back up. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it as is, right? Let me look at quickly POIs for ETH because I also do want to catch along on this because I mean, out of everything, this seems to be the one with the most strength right now. So like hedge long would probably be, I would say we have quite a few lows here that need to get around, right? These, mainly these, yeah. So like 1850, 1845, they all need to get around. So I would probably, maybe as like a hedge, scalp long this or something like that. In validation, I would say I don't really want to see this low get around, so probably something like this. I think this is a good setup. I mean, it's a $30 stop loss, so something like this, right? And then there's also an MPOC up here, which we could also retest, right? That's why I don't want to move my stops break even, because I could see Bitcoin going up. Like pretty much just retesting, right, supply. So similar thing here, right? I could see maybe either something like this and then going up here or something like that, or we just break down fully and our hedge would get stopped, and then we'd get covered on the short, right? So those are like local ideas, I think, on potentially on ETH. Entry, I would say like 1836, 1837. I'll put my stop like right below that wick there. I think that's a decent setup. Yeah. Let me check EMAs as well. I'm assuming, okay, well, we're below it right now, so it's currently bearish, but it could flip it, right? But let me see, H4 EMA, I have no idea. Oh, okay, lines up perfectly. Okay, this is a nice one actually. I think this would be a nice hedge along H4 EMA and MPOC. I think that's clean. I'll pop that in the chat. Yeah. Let's see, Solana. So this was also a short ball up here, pretty clean sweep. Actually, I think I would have gone front round on this. Yeah, because I would have usually. Yeah, I would have gone like, so basically, I would have probably set a limit for this. Did that even tap? Hold on. Oh no, oh yeah, I wouldn't have gone front round. I usually set limits at like the wick lows before the sweep, right? So that was also a setup, right? But pretty much the same as Ethereum though. Maybe I should have went with this one instead, but anyways. In terms of MPOX, I need to adjust this again. Let me check. There's one up here, but I don't know, Sol's looking weaker than ETH and Bitcoin, so I don't know if it goes to retest that. Longs though, let's see. Yeah, maybe, okay. There's an MPOC here, so this might actually like kind of line up with Bitcoin, but essentially it's like I could see potentially in the near future like a retest of here, and then about we have like a mechanical bounce that we could potentially like capitalize on. So I'll watch this sweep low here, see what happens. Maybe sweep into MPOC, that would be pretty nice. And obviously this like this blue box here is like a value area, which I didn't notice before until like recently. I mean, I would say that's like it looks more clear on the like H4 chart, H12, but that is like, I don't know, like a sort of like consolidation here before high, right? So I noticed that is like, I would say if we like Pico retest the VAH again, that'd be pretty clean. Sort of similar to, I would say, I mean, I don't know, I think high time frame vals are pretty clean on Sol. So I've got them drawn out now, so I'll pay more attention to them in the future. But yeah, I think this level would be clean on Sol for a long, maybe like even higher R, maybe like, it would honestly depend. But if I draw a fib, if we do get here and I draw a fib, I'll just target like the 618 or something. But yeah, something like this, because I don't really want a long in the middle here, because I just feel like we could easily teleport to the other side of the range. So yeah, we'll see. I think we could also just bounce it, right? Like market could recover, but we'll see. Anything could happen on FOMC. If we do get like some structure breaks, then for whatever reason, like whatever happens with FOMC, I'll probably look to. I'll find some scalp longs if there is any. But yeah, and I'll cover hype as well. But let me go over USDT as well. One sec. I'll cover USDT because this is really clean, man. I really like USDT. I'll remove this indicator because it just doesn't work. And remove this as well. I think this was a pretty clean channel idea, but I mean, this is starting to look like a fake out here, so we'll see. But if I just remove the channel for a second, like, I know it's a messy chart, but like these are pretty clean, my POIs, right? So I had this drawn out like since basically like mid-July. So this isn't like, basically the way I draw it is whenever a sweep happens and like an obvious low that causes a sweep, I just mark that out, right? And they usually have good reactions. So here, I could have, if I wanted to long like Bitcoin or whatever, like when this tapped here, the 50%. But I mean, I don't have too many confluences. I'd rather take a setup in confluence with like both Bitcoin and the USDT chart. So like when we hit this here, I thought we'd have one more well, I thought we'd go sweep the poor highs on Bitcoin, right? The June highs, I think. Actually, no, it wasn't June highs. It was like in the middle of June. It was like mid-June high or whatever, right? On Bitcoin, that got front run. But look, this same thing here, right? Like we had a sweep back here in the start of June, and then that kind of turned into demand zone, right? So, and it like retested here, but I just didn't. I wanted to wait for one more high on Bitcoin, but if I just shorted Bitcoin here, I would be up quite nice. But anyways, yeah. Also, the fact that Bitcoin, like, we kind of low-key did an SMT, like, this leg up here was like a lower high on Bitcoin, and then on Ethereum it was a higher high, right? We made a new high on ETH. If I just go back to the ETH chart real quick, like, yeah, see, like this was a higher high. So that's something called SMT, which I've been paying attention to a bit more. It's like usually a reversal signal. So yeah, like same thing happened at the lows where like Bitcoin swept the low, but Ethereum didn't, right? So that's kind of why I've had another reason why I've had a more bearish bias. But this is looking like locally pretty clean, like this sweep. And like if we close above, I would say like these highs here, that looks like a pretty good long setup towards like my short POI. So maybe I'll take that. I just don't know about the risk to reward though. It's not great, but I mean if I was just to take entry a little bit more conservative, yeah, I would not take this. Like usually I would take it at the retest, but it's not the greatest of like risk to reward. So maybe something like this, and then we go towards that POI. I think that would be clean, but I probably won't alert this just because we still have pretty. Actually, this is a setup I would take like on a breakout eval or some shit, like just to quickly pass it. I wouldn't take it like with personal capital there. So actually, yeah, we still need to wait for the 30-minute to close there. But yeah, if you want me to look at any alts, just let me know. I covered pretty much the main three, right? Bitcoin, ETH, SOL, USDT, Hyperliquid. Let's see. It's a honestly brutal chart to look at, but I mean, we still are in like what you would call. Actually, no, it's not really brutal at all. This is pretty clean. Still technically like just range bound here at the highs. If this low gets ran, honestly, I probably will try along there. If it's an SFP, that is, sorry. But yeah, like every time we've gone into this like anchored VWAP, right? It's always had like buyers stepping in. So like here we had buyers stepping in, here again, and here's like the first sign that maybe buyers are like not interested anymore. But I mean, a clean setup for me would be an SFP of this, and my validation would be obviously like right below the midpoint of this anchored VWAP. I would obviously target new highs, probably like psychological $80 right before. This would be like a swing move I'd be looking at on hype. If we go below here, then I would probably just start buying spot, honestly. I wouldn't try to catch the bottom, I'll just start buying spot, right? I think if hype is gonna make its way to $100 someday, I don't think, like, this chart doesn't have the full history, but the previous low before this one was like $7 or $8, something like that. Maybe even $9, I can't remember, but I think it was 7. So, you know, it shouldn't really go back to $20. I see some people saying 22, 14, whatever, right? But if we're gonna keep trending upwards, this shouldn't really have any business going back to the 20s. If it does, that just looks kind of cooked. But yeah, so if this hits stop, I would just like start aping in spot, probably between like 40s and 30s. I think would just be your area to buy. I've got some spot buy limits on Hyperliquid, but we'll see if they get filled or not. This would be like my local idea, more local swing. So yeah. All right. Let me pop this in the chat. So yeah, I mean, this is still a range until proven otherwise, right? So all right, also cover NQ real quick because we are nearing like a pretty crazy level. So if I just turn on the volume profile real quick, I need to adjust the tick size slightly. Right, here we go. So if I just remove this red line real quick, you can see like pretty much every naked point of control on NQ. I would say it's like maybe like every retest of an MPOC is maybe like 50% win rate if you were just to long it. Maybe like 40, probably maybe lower, like 40%. But the point isn't to long like every single like NPOC, right? The point would just be to find confluences around, like, you know, hold on, I think I've got this settings wrong. I think it's a number of rows, yeah. Well, this might be wrong actually, wait. I don't know, I need to figure out the settings after, but essentially every MPOC usually has some sort of, it gets retested at least, right? So if I turn on the EMAs, you can also see daily 200 EMAs like almost always provides a reaction. Actually, let me go to the daily chart. So for example, here we were trending up, right? It gave a retest here. Obviously that was not the bottom, but you know, I'll probably, if we get a decent reaction here, I'll obviously take profits on the way up. But this is sort of the reaction I'm looking for, right? So we were ranging up here, sort of like we did here. Like this happens over and over, right? We start ranging, we give a retest, then we like break down, but it's like almost always a fake out. So this was just this year, right, in March, due to like the Iran war. The one before that was obviously tariffs, right, with that crazy bastard. You know, this one here as well was a pretty clean daily 200 retest, but they almost always provide a clean opportunity. And the one I'm seeing here is like we have a naked point of control as well, lining up with the daily 200 EMA. So that's one I'm looking to take, honestly. So it's quite a wide stop loss, like 249 points. But to be honest, I'm just gonna probably. I can't. Obviously, I'm not able to take this on a futures prop firm, but I will be able to long in on breakout. And I don't know if this is. I probably won't alert it because it's not on perps or anything, but you know, it is something that I can take on a prop firm. So yeah, pop this in the chat. If this doesn't work, then I mean, we're probably gonna go way lower to like weekly 200 EMA or something. But you know, I see some people like swing short in here, like Nasdaq, like like come on, people buying puts and shit like after it's already crashed. Like nah, bro, that's not the way. But anyways, yeah, we covered the main markets, I would say. Let's see what else. For ES, I mean, oh wow, we didn't even sweep below on ES. I would have still been in the setup. I posted the setup on X, but I mean, I closed break even just because it looked like shit. But obviously, it played out nice. Well, I would have gone a TP off, but I mean, hasn't played out. But anyways, yeah, we didn't sweep the low here, which is interesting. That's also like an SMT, right? Yeah, that's interesting because Enki's been brutally getting wrecked. But yeah, if you guys don't have any alts you want me to look at, then I'll just, let's see, I'll look for my alt list. I think most of them look like shit. If stocks look like shit, then I'll just see CRV's green on the day somehow. That's interesting. Maybe I'll try to find a sell on this. Oh god, I need to turn this off. Alright. Oh, okay, that just didn't work. Okay, I'm just gonna clear this chart. We'll ignore that long setup. Why is CRV showing strength here? I mean, it is like at the extreme of the range. Wait, hold on, more. Had a pretty nice reaction after that sweep, but honestly, maybe one more. Yeah, because this also looks like kind of an upwards channel right now, so I suppose it makes sense, right? But maybe I'll look to buy CRV spot if it does something like this, like an AMD setup. Yeah, because this is like really crazy risk reward. Not even like just to these highs, like a setup like that would be like 10R. So you know, in summer I am looking at quite a few AMD setups that could play out. Yeah, I think like a lot of these, I think a lot of odds will catch people off guard very quickly, just because I was looking back through like summer 2022, and yeah, we made one low, but like, I mean, odds were already brutally wrecked. So even if you brought like right before the FTX crash, and you just held your odds even before that, you still would have made money, right? Like, they still did pretty like stupid numbers from the bottom. So just looking at CRV here, like, yeah, if we get like some sort of like, you know, this could be like a range here, whatever, distribution under the lows again, and then if we reclaim, that would be my like swing long spot setup. So I probably wouldn't long this on perps. I would just buy spot just because I don't want to pay funding fees. But yeah, I think that's honestly like these ideas I would probably go for like across like 5 or 10 alts, and then yeah, like, you know, one of them, at least 3 of them I think would print, right? Even if 7 of them don't make that much money, 3 of them should outperform at least.